But let me tell you the truth, it's because boys do not know how to show love.
But at the same time, these are guys who are in their 30s, bro.
They don't know how to show love, bro. Because this is the truth. Like, if I saw someone who looked cool, my wife and kids, Michael Kyle.
Yeah, Damien Wayne, there you go.
Massive role model for me.
Facts.
The character Michael
Facts.
Kyle.
I was willing to walk away because I know I f***ed up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I broke her heart.
I was thinking, I need to be getting in the gym myself. But again, the same
thing.
Yeah.
Really? Like, I remember when I first saw you in certain, I think you came into the gym. I was like, who made you, bro? Was you made in the lab? Like,
Wargwarn, my people. And welcome to the Today We Won podcast.
Welcome to the Today We Won podcast. I am so happy to be here. This is one of my old school brothers. This is someone I go really far back with. Life, you know, children, boys to men. There's a whole lot of different titles we could have used. But this one's absolutely a wild one. Our relationship, our energy, our vibe, we are Dragon Ball Z through and through. Like, this guy is the prince of all science, and we can go on and on and on. But with no further delay, I would like to introduce my boy, Ish, to the podcast.
Hi, everyone. I'm a bit nervous, but happy to be here because obviously I've never done this before, but I've seen the growth of Daniel's podcast and he's doing an amazing job. And, you know, when he invited me or asked me to come on, I'll be like, yeah, I was happy to help.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So we're going to dive into some real serious questions and some, you know, some proper ones, man.
Yeah,
so I'm going to bear all. So, you know, I might be the villain. You know, like they say, Prince of all Saiyans, Vegeta was a villain, but he changed his ways
for the right.
For the right, you know what I mean? Met the right woman as well. See, character building, you know what I'm saying? So,
Big up Bulma.
Big up Bulma, aka Fizz. I see you, baby girl.
So, how do we know each other? Just for them behind the camera. So, we went to
Sutton Coldfield College.
Yeah.
Wow, that's taking it back.
Sutton was nuts. I actually did like Sutton.
Yeah. SEC, you what?
Come on, fam. Yeah. Sutton was good. It was a really good time because it was just before they turned to Birmingham Mets as well.
Yeah, we just left in it when they.
Yeah. But it was a good time because there was so much freedom. As in, like, when I look at things now and I think, wow, like, that's really different when I was younger.
Yeah.
And when I was in college, I was about 17. Do you know what I mean? And when I was 17, I felt like it was so easy to just follow a career and path.
Yeah.
Where now, at 17, I feel like you need to have a lot more going about you.
I feel like AI, social media plays a massive part in that because I feel like we was at a stage where it was just like, I think YouTube was just kind of coming out and stuff like that. True. Insta wasn't as big as it was. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like, again, that's what it was. We was allowed to be kids.
Yes.
I don't feel like we wasn't really pressured to be like, if you look at Insta now, you look at I want to grow my following. I got to wear this designer. I got to wear that.
And that's all ages as well. That's young, right up until us and...
Yeah, even us oldies. I say oldies, but we're not prime right now.
We're just unks
right now. You get me? No, we got one more year before we're unks. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just feel like, back then we had a lot of freedom. I feel like, kids were allowed to be kids back then.
I agree with you. And I think even like, life happens, life is life, isn't it? But it just felt safer. Do you know what I mean? Like,
of course.
It felt safer. Like, if my kid wanted to go from where we live all the way to like a Rome college, I'd be like, there's loads of closer ones, babe. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot more closer ones.
I mean, obviously there's dangers everywhere you go, but I feel like back then, like you said, it felt a lot more safe, a lot more free.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So
you brought me onto a great point. AI. Did you get a chance to see my new trailer? What do you think of the new trailer? Intro. I call it trailer.
I mean, I thought you paid someone to do that, you know.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you, but yeah, you smashed it, bro. Like it
Love
was a
my bro.
really good
Love my
intro,
bro.
man. Like I said, the growth of your podcast from the first one to to the changes of your introduction. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm gassed. I'm really happy. See, what you guys don't know is that before all of this started, this gentleman here, I contacted and I was like, I really want to do this. I'm thinking about doing this. And would you this and would you this and could you this? And do you think this could work? And and this is just when my ideas were just running as fast as I tried to present that. Do you know what I mean?
Just chefing up ideas, bro. Like, yeah.
So it's amazing to actually be here in a position where I'm where I wanted to be. Does that make sense?
Like you thought about it, you said it, you was in the background cooking it up and you've done it.
Do you know what I mean?
And you're here now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and it's true. So back to the point, AI. I did use AI, and it was the way I interact with AI. I don't tell it what to do in the sense of give it information.
Yeah.
I'm very creative. And the AI tools that I used, it likes me to be descriptive.
Yeah.
So then I can tell it exactly how I want it to present a background.
Yeah.
And it will give me a background or whatever it be. But when you see the whole thing put together, that is me. The transitions, the tears on the friggin'. If you hear it's every tear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, that is me. That's
it is sick. To be fair, like I thought I was good at editing, but then you come along and it's like raw. Like teach me, brother, teach me.
But no, it's true. I've really stepped it up. I have, man. I really have, and I'm very proud of that because, in all honesty, I started editing because I couldn't afford to pay an editor. That's how all videographer both. Do you know what I mean? And it's gone from that to like me actually creating different
yourself in it.
And me being even used, and then we've got Today We Won production, which is the capturing the moments of people's interactions and moments and stuff like that. So that's cool. I do like that.
No, that's good, man. That's good.
So in regards to the AI, how do you feel about AI? Do you use it yourself? Do you interact with it? A lot of people go straight to ChatGPT, and I don't actively avoid it like there's a problem. I actively avoid it because I like to use my own creativity.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, how do you interact with AI, and do you use the different features?
I mean, I don't really use AI a lot, but I should. I mean, I use ChatGPT. Was it ChatGPT? I can't even. HMI. I do use that a bit at work when I'm sending some emails because again, sometimes I'm very raw with my words.
Yes.
And I got to tone it back down for work, you know what I'm saying? Especially
make it fit.
To the appropriate person that the email is getting sent to.
Yeah.
That's about it. But I'm going to start using AI more in terms of my videos and stuff like that, what I want to do and stuff.
Yeah, I definitely would say so, because what it can do for you sometimes, it saves you a lot of work in terms of, just for argument's sake, it can take the background as opposed to you going all the way around and having to cut it out. Or it will give you a position where you can produce something of a very high standards with very minimal, not necessarily effort, but very minimal input. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I hear.
So then they're like the trailers, for example, the trailers that are made for the podcast, they are done using some of the AI features, but it isn't necessarily the fact that you're not doing it. It's more the fact that it's a transition or something that you can replicate with AI. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's your idea.
Yes.
They're just putting it together.
Yes.
Saving you time. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's really, I think AI is going to be massive in the next 5, 10, 15 years.
100%. And this is why they say get on board now, because if you get on board now, you're in a position where you can learn quick, be at the front of the pack, as opposed to at the back of the pack, dragging your heels, but then actually you've just watched everyone else go in.
You know what's crazy about that? I read somewhere that China is actually making AI classes mandatory. in their schools and it's primary schools as well. It's not secondary. It's like from a young age. I feel like the UK should adapt to that.
Yeah.
Even if it's like do we still do after school clubs here? I don't even know.
I think we do, but they charge with our kids now, like with the childcare.
Like, is it youth club, isn't it? That's a youth club, isn't it? Yeah, that's it.
I think the youth clubs are a bit different because those are for the kids to take themselves to, which they're dotted around. But I would even say not like we had Tuck Shop. Tuck Shop was nuts.
Well, again, we talk about the freedom, the you know, like, and obviously inflation, you know, cost of living. So I feel like, but that shouldn't be an issue when it comes to education, kids, and knowledge and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Up to the age of 18, then they should just get. I agreed.
Yeah.
So onto the podcast. This episode is actually called This episode is actually called. I was going to say transitioning from boys to men, but it isn't. There's so many different titles that we're going to use, but it is holding yourself accountable.
Damn.
Or should we say accountability? And I like it. I like that because accountability comes with growth, and growing and becoming a man doesn't necessarily always mean you've made a mistake. It can be that, but it also means you're taking responsibility for what you are now responsible for.
No, I like that.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I hear that.
Where a lot of the time people you got these man children that have kids, and they're reproducing. And they're not taking responsibility, but they're physically big or they're physically got money, they've got good job or whatever, but they're still running around with a young mindset. And then that brain isn't developed.
Yeah.
So then you're not taking care of your responsibility.
I feel like that's down to trauma. You know,
that's a good
I'm not just like, okay, I'm not just blaming trauma because obviously at the end of the day, you are a man of your own. But I feel like trauma plays a big part in how some of us grow up. Some of us obviously learn from it and I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be like, let's say for example, my dad. Say if my dad was this way, and there was brought up in our household where, I don't know, he was around but he wasn't around, he was aggressive or was a drinker or whatever, and then when he's older, I don't want to be nothing like that. But then you've got the opposite where some people can't break that circle. So then they're literally the carbon copy of their father or their mother. And that's why they've got like a young mentality because they never had a childhood growing up. So when they're like 25 plus, 30 plus, they're trying to relive what they've missed out on. So
which I agree with your point. There's a famous story and it's like these two twins are children to a drunk.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And one says, I'm not going to drink because dad was a drunk. And one says, all I'm going to do is drink because dad was a drunk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it always comes down to your choice, your personal opinion, because then one's going to live a life of healthier living, and then one's going to spiral quicker and blame DNA and genetics. And it's my dad was that way.
But it's like you said, there's always a choice, and this is where accountability comes in.
Yes, accountability. It makes a difference. And sometimes as well, we don't get taught accountability by fathers, but we get taught or brought it into these situations where we are forced to grow up.
Yeah.
So then, like, what I found myself was living in a position, like, my missus were good, like, but the point I'm making is, I went from being a young man with a lady who had children to a father or two.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
So you kind of had to, like, transition quick. Like quick, learn, adapt to become the man. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you went from, young Daniel, single, player. You know what I'm saying? We won't get into the past. We might. Later on, he was a dog. But yeah, like you have to kind of learn quick to adapt, yeah, and
mature because of the circumstances I found myself within.
Yeah,
and that's what like transitioning from child to a man is about. Because if the environment demands it or commands it, Can you step up?
Yeah.
That's the question. Because if you're in a position where, like, you ain't got no children, you're good. Not that enough. Not armed.
Hey.
Exactly.
No. I pull that game too strong, baby. You know what I'm saying?
All jokes aside, but the point I'm making is you've got no children. So you wouldn't need to adapt in a way that I need to adapt.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean,
it's still necessary.
Yeah, of course. Like
it's still necessary.
Yeah, I mean, touching a bit on my past, I was a stepdad for 2 years, so I kind of understand you know how to step up quickly. Obviously, going into that situation is scary for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yourself, your partner, and the kid. You know what I'm saying? Because when you first get this, like, I'm not trying to be your dad.
Facts.
That's so respectfully
true.
though, respectfully, because you've already got a father.
Yes, and I'm not trying to take no one's place. Of course. I'm just over here, and I'm here if you would like me.
Yeah. I just see me as like a somewhat role model.
Yeah, cool.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, cool role model. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I look out for you type of thing.
But then there's also the flip side where you said there's guys out here who are just breeding like jackrabbits and not taking care of their kids. So then when another man comes in, he'll step up and actually be a father to that kid, because the OG father, he's out there gallivanting, doing whatever, not caring, you know what I'm saying? So
100%, 100%. And sometimes it isn't even always the fact that he doesn't care, it's the fact that he's not mature enough to take up his responsibilities, which, again, the child falls short, but at the same time, it's always important that you arrive at the right points when it's necessary.
Yeah,
I think that's most important.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In regards to development, in regards to growing, I think us boys, we have a good way of checking each other if we're not doing the right thing. But I feel like at times we can be a bad influence. I think sometimes it's necessary to like me and my boys, like, and you're definitely one of them.
Yeah,
but we're college brothers. More than day-to-day boys. We talk all the time. Come on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the point I'm making is, me and my boys, like, we love relationships. You're one of them, and that's the point I'm making. But we love relationships, and the reason why I say that is because that's where we're at. Yeah, couples, children. Days out. You know what I mean? Family. Dominic Toretto vibes, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Yeah, so because that's the age where we're at now. And also the mindset, not because, it's not just the age, because you could be 40 plus and still be acting like doing a young idiot, you know what I'm saying? No, but you said it's right, and that's the transitional mindset between your early 30s and your late 40s, late 30s. Either way, in your 30s, man. In your 30s is what it is, do you know what I mean? But it's true. And in that period, you think, okay, now, you like being a cool uncle. You think, one time I would like to be a father, maybe. You know what I mean? Like that's where you're trying to find yourself. That's where you should be looking to find yourself. Yeah, I'm definitely a cool uncle. I always take my nieces out, and then sometimes I'm like, maybe one won't hurt. I know, innit? But then at the same time, like, it's like, okay, they're not tiring out. You want more attention, you want more time, like, and I'm tired, and I've only had it for like 5 hours, 6 hours. You know what I mean? I was like, shit. But I feel like the transition would be hard to, especially for me anyway, because like all my friends all got kids, bar 1 or 2. And it's like, wow. You know what I mean? I would never thought, he'll have a kid. Or, you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? Because of how we change. But like you said, transition from a boy to a man, and how you have to step up. And it's also as well when you meet the right person, and also the right time, because you can meet the right person, but if the timing ain't right to have there's no right time to have a kid, but you know what I'm saying. Facts, my bro. No, but what you're saying is absolutely right, though, because like you said, you can be in love with this person, you're just dating, we're having a great time, we're not in love, we're having a great time together, romantically, not sexually. You know what I mean? You enjoy each other's company a lot. But that was the wrong time. Then you can meet someone else and get to know them. And actually you think, you know what, I'm so glad now is the right time.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I'm saying? Like, in your past, every time you think, oh, we'll be great right now. But then when the right time is the right time, you're actually happy that nothing else started before then.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm making.
You know, it's funny you said that, because it's like, you know, I ain't gonna lie, I've been around the block. And it's like, every time you feel like you find that one, but then when you meet someone else, you're like, oh, this is what love is.
This is the one.
You know what I'm saying? But then something happens that don't work out. But it's like, nah, this is what love is.
This is what.
Do you know what I mean?
No,
you know
facts,
what I'm saying?
Bro, facts. Because
you know what I'm saying?
the same with me, like my other half, I didn't expect. Well, no, let me flip that. I expected all my children to look like me.
Yeah.
And I got 2 children that couldn't look further apart from me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, when I watch them and analyze their behaviors, they reflect me.
Mm.
So then it depends what look like you means.
But at the same time, that's a good reflection of you as a man, because they see your mannerisms, they respect you, they feel the aura. So when they see you, they're like, you know what? He's not my dad, but at the same time,
respectfully,
do you know what I mean?
Take on board, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
No, I love that. I absolutely love that, and it's a nice way of looking at it. Like, they go with mum. The eldest one's going through her GCSEs at the moment.
Okay.
As a lot of others are, and she sent me some nice texts, and I like that. I really do appreciate that, because something you said is a powerful thing. When you come into a child's life. When you like somebody and they come with a +1, you are there as a friend. You're not trying to replace anything.
Facts.
Or you shouldn't be trying to replace anything.
You're
just there as a friend, as in like, I'm your +1. I don't really know what to call what we got right now.
Yeah.
And to see that blossom and spiral into what we've got is brilliant, because she's a daddy's girl, just like my little one's a daddy's girl.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel very comfortable. Do you know what I mean? And just nice. I absolutely love that. I really do love that. It is a nice feeling. Tell me a time of when you was able to mature, develop, and grow, that we can share with someone behind the camera, that they can learn from this experience. Because it's either that question or tell me, give someone advice in that. And it's not that, this is not that type of conversation.
I do like a little mix. You know, hopefully the wifey don't kill me. But you know, we're bearing all. I mean, I've had periods where I've had I've had periods where, like, you know, I'll be doing good, then I'll relapse into an absolute, you know what I'm saying? That's not to do with my partner or anything. Sometimes, you know, life just gets on top, and I'm not using that as an excuse for the things people do or whatever, because, you know, at the same time, whatever you're doing, you know you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, there's times, you know, I ain't gonna lie, like, listen, you know, I've cheated before.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I had put my hand on my heart, I regretted it. You know what I'm saying? I was a piece of you know what I'm saying, real talk. But, you know, I saw the errors of my ways.
Well, that's accountability and maturing, like we're talking about. Exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, like, I was willing to walk away because I know I f***ed up. You know what I'm saying? And I broke her heart, broke her trust, you know, and then seeing her in that state and knowing that I've done that.
Defeated, yeah.
Yeah, and I've done that. It shook me. It really did shook me. You know what I'm saying? Even though I knew what I was doing, but then once it all came out and I saw, you know, the impact of my terrible choice. Again, it's a bit of a hot topic right now. It's a bit not getting emotional, but it's just reliving back. So, but yeah, like, just seeing her like that, and then when we spoke and, you know, trying to work things back out, she's giving me a second chance, and the second chance now is like, I became the man that I was at the start.
Yeah,
and then and what she knew and who she knew I was. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm not like saying I've changed who I am, because as always a good person. It's just,
No,
it's
100%.
just that moment in that period of my life where I messed up.
You see, the transition period as well. So I don't want to, I'm not defending what you've done. What I'm saying is the transitional period from boy to man is important because boys are allowed to have girlfriends. A man's supposed to have one. Who tells you at what point is the cutoff? Do you know what I mean? Or what doing whatever? Like, do you know what I'm saying? I'm being real, bro.
Yeah.
When we was young, we wasn't told be the best person. Well, yeah, okay, one or two can say that, but really and truly, the point I'm making is it was everyone kind of showing you this lavish life of do your thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at the point you find somebody that you fall in love with, boys, as a self-defense, when we feel vulnerable and we say, well, the first thing I'm going to do is protect myself, and you can't tell me what to do. Why?
Yeah.
Because that's an element of protection. That's how we try and protect ourselves. It's really when we feel vulnerable and our masculinity is threatened.
Yeah, I feel like the ego and pride plays a big part. And that was another thing, like with me, is like my ego was it was at all-time high.
Yeah.
No one could tell me what to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm the man. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Do you know who I am? Kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, come on, bro.
You know what I mean? And it's like then you know, like I said, once we got back on track, I mean, we're still kind of like in that, we're still in a transition period ourselves because, I mean, you know, trust was broken. You know, it's not going to be fixed overnight, a week, a year. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, because she put her whole heart and trust in me and I broke that. But I'm doing things to like, you know, not doing things in terms of like I'm doing it just to win her trust back and then do it again. No, I'm becoming a better person. I learned from my mistake, and it's like learning her love language.
That
you know what I'm saying, knowing when she's overstimulated. You know that phrase, happy wife, happy life. Never understood it till now, kind of thing, because it's like you know they say like, you know, a woman can make a house a home, and it's facts. Because, you know, when it's not that they're telling you what to do, but if you listen, and you give them what they want, they'll automatically let you lead. You know, because they respect you, so they will make you they know you're the man because they respect you. But again, that comes from making the wife happy. You know what I'm saying?
I think also as well with relationships, what has to be established is gender roles, because what can happen is if you feel threatened, whatever that looks like, and roles aren't established, then what we can do is we can find ourselves having to prove things, then ego starts to come involved. Do you know what I mean? So I need to prove to myself I'm not soft. So you know, you can't tell me. But really and truly, when the girl's saying don't go out, or she's saying like, you know, stay with me, or she's saying it's your choice, that means sit there. Sit down. Then really and truly we think, what, you're trying to control, but it is never a control. It's more of a they just want the time. But actually we also don't know what God or whoever is protecting us from in that moment. You know, sometimes you've had a near miss of, just could be an accident, it could be an altercation, it could have just been a witness. You don't want, why was you there? I was going to get food. Of course you would. No, I was going to get food. And it just happened in front of you. Of course. Well, I'm on my way to come and get you. Do you know what I mean? These things happen, like. But now, man, it's good. It's absolutely good. And like I say, accountability is important. I feel like with boys, we do a lot to, we like to show.
Facts.
You know what I mean? We do, man. We show, man. We are show.
Yeah, I hold my hand up. Listen, like I said, back in the day, you know, I was a piece of bro. You know what I mean? Top galleys, you know.
I think there's a difference between a piece of and someone who is a young playboy. See, a young playboy is someone who's good looking, got charm, and is just playing the field. That little kid needs guidance. A piece of is somebody who's purposely hurting people. It doesn't matter if that means you've got 5 gal on the go, or you pushing people around, or you making. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Well, let me talk more about that when I mean by piece of shit. I mean, like, I'll always be nice, but at the same time, I'm doing my thing over here with X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah.
But
do you know
again,
what I'm saying?
Why? Because that's how we was taught. Do your thing. We was never taught, find the right woman, fall in love, We wasn't taught that. We actually wasn't taught that. I wasn't taught that. I wasn't taught fall in love.
Yeah.
You mean you soft look, or you mean fall in love?
Yeah, facts. Look at them holding hands.
Yeah.
Oh, he's all in love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're like, what do you mean? It's a movement. Move up, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's true. So you don't get taught these things. So then we live in a way that where we operate out of ego and fear of being judged or laughed at or whatever.
That's it.
Where when you transition from a boy to a man, the man says, I don't care.
Facts.
Who says what?
Yeah, this is my lady. I'm gonna.
This is what's most important to me.
Exactly.
And sometimes for I know 1 or 2 people in particular. There isn't a lady there, but they've got a yard or they've got a car. These are commitments you've committed. Equally as well, cost you less than a lady because it ain't gonna cost you a penny more. I'm joking, but you know what I'm saying? Like real talk. You've committed. You've got your yard. You've got your car or whatever, and you have to transition. You can't be out late because you need to make work. You can't be doing this because of you need to be at the right place at the right time. So you're giving yourself the right amount of sleep and the right amount of energy, and you're making sure that you're doing the right thing to keep and maintain what you've got. That is transitioning. Do you know what I mean? Where someone young is like, oh, I don't know, man. It ain't my fault.
Yeah.
Do you mean it's not your fault, bro? You don't go to work. You're late. You shout out. You cuss out. No one can tell you. So how is it not your fault?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like they say, when you, I think like when you're 25, your frontal lobe's fully developed. So that's going to be who you are. So
who you are, yeah.
So it's really good to have like role models or a good friend group around. Because I remember in 2018, I went through this phase. Oh my gosh, bro, it was crazy to the point where. My friends had to call a meeting. I must have showed up to his house and all my boys was around. I walked in like, yo, we having a party? Nah, sit your ass down. We're talking about you, bro. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's it called? Not AA meeting. What's it called?
No, stop, because I had AA meeting in my head.
It's called something else. And like, they sat me down and there's like, yo, Ish, you need to stop. You need to fix up. Like, what are you doing? But at the same time, that year as well, I had a very scary car crash.
So you're thinking, I could have died?
Yeah.
Life is for living?
Yeah.
I'm just going to do me because
I was doing me like before the car crash. But after the car crash, I just went flip mode, and it's I had like multiple underlying and going out. I was literally going out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, even on a Sunday. I'll come up to work 6 o'clock in the morning, drunk. I'm still doing my shift though, because I was a top dealer. I was a croupier, not street dealer. I worked in a casino. But like, gym was non-existent.
Patterns and routines, and then that's it.
That's it.
It becomes a slippery slope. And then, if you don't have someone to hold you accountable, which the boys did, so well done the man them for that.
Yeah, facts.
That's when you can lose your brother,
Yeah.
You can lose your boy there, And next time you see him, you're like, have you seen my man? You never put your name in that sentence.
Yeah,
but bruv, I don't know what happened to my man, but it's looking a bit raw.
And this is another thing as well. Like when you've got a good friendship group around you, and you've got a missus, especially with my situation, introduce your missus to your boys. Because so when you are out, she knows, well, he's with good company. Yes. Whereas, I don't know, this is a fake name. Let's say Malcolm, who he knew back in, I don't know, secondary school. He's a playboy, likes to go out. I don't like him. I don't want him hanging out with my man.
Don't be out with Malcolm.
But if you see him with like his lads who's got kids who are married,
family men,
9 times out of 10, he's not really going to get himself
into any
situations that she wouldn't want, to be in. You know what I'm saying?
And that includes violence, and remove ladies from it entirely, because you know, initially you think, oh, you don't want something bad to happen. But if you're out with the man them and the man them love to trouble or ruckus or the brawlers or no one can tell us nothing, then your man's going out and you don't know if he's coming home
exactly.
tonight.
But again, this is why I've got different friendship group. I say friendship group because I got one main friendship group. Man, then you got associates that you know either from work or from back in the days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, no, 100%, 100%. And that brings me on very nicely too. I've got some quick fire questions.
Damn.
Hot or cold?
Hot.
Late starts or early mornings?
Late starts.
Nights out with couples or out with the man them?
For my safety, I'm going to say with couples.
Good lad. Good lad. Afro beats and grime, UK or drill and funky house?
I'm going to go with the funky house. Yeah.
FIFA or UFC?
I'm going to go FIFA. FIFA.
1,000 likes or 30,000 views?
1,000 likes or 30,000. I'll take 1,000 likes.
Skydive or bungee jump?
Skydive.
As a saying, be born a super saiyan or earn it?
Earn it.
100%. And then I've got a motivation, drive or be driven. So like motivate someone or have someone motivate you.
I'm a bit of a motivator, so I like to motivate someone. I feel good motivating people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So to be fair, I like that. That's good. That's good.
Man.
I was gonna say that the same one. I think you would like to earn it because that's just how we're bred. Us Saiyans, you have to earn it.
Facts.
You have to earn it. And the other one that I had in there, which was the motivate one, I did think to myself, I wonder which way this could go. Do you know what I mean? Because I know you can motivate, but I know, you're a motivator.
No, don't get me wrong. Like I like to motivate people, but then when I see like take David Goggins for example, you know, discipline always trumps motivation. But when I see or read his books and I see, I'm like, I'm getting up. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
I'm getting up, doing my thing, going gym, going for a 5K run. Haven't been in a while, but life's lifing.
Bro, life's lifing.
Life's lifing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yo, gotta pay the bills.
You get me?
You know what I'm saying?
Serious?
Forget a 5K run. I want a 5K in my bank account. Do you know what I mean?
Come on.
But but yeah, man, it's been good.
Nah, and it's true, man. Like I definitely agree. Life has been life, and I was just thinking about it, and I was thinking, I need to be getting in the gym myself. But again, the same thing. Yeah. Really?
Like I remember when I first saw you in certain, I think you came into the gym. I was like, who made you, bro? Was you made in the lab? Like we're all like 16, 17, and you're looking like Mr. Olympia in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo.
I can honestly say I've put on a little bit of timber, but it's only because I've been working on this pod. But again, I don't mind because one, it's happy weight, which is great.
Yeah.
But two, for me, Saiyans don't lose it, bro. Like, we just stay fit, we stay young.
But you look good though, you know, no diddy, but you know, you look good. I would take the hoodie off, but I'm cold, you know. So
guys, listen, Vegeta he's got that name for a reason. Don't let this guy play shy. He's got that name for a reason. If you know, say less. So, if there was a piece of advice that you would give someone that was in your position where they are in a position where they're working on bettering themselves, what would it be?
You mean in terms of like bettering themselves in general or
just
a relationship?
In life. Just in life, not even relationship. As in, you're working on yourself.
Yeah.
You want to be better. A little piece of advice.
I would say always be true to yourself.
Okay.
Keep your family close.
Mm-hmm.
That's saying if you have got a good connection with your family, keep them close. Point, yeah. And I always like to take care of myself. I like to be selfish, but in a way of if I can't take care of me, how am I able to take care of others? So always put yourself first in that sense.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And then be selfless when you're helping others, like, you know what I mean? Because I'm a helper, you know. You know what I mean? There'll be times where, let's say I'm low on money, but someone asks me for money. I'll give it. Because I know I'm gonna get that money back.
You have to get in line.
Do you know what I'm
I
saying?
tell everyone, it's like,
there's no shame for asking for help at all. You know what I'm saying?
No,
you've got people around you. Like I said, pride and ego kills, especially in the black community. Especially in the black community. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I think that's for me, it's because we search for approval, and not. I'm not trying to generalize everybody.
No, just do it, bro. It's your podcast, bro. You know what I'm saying?
But it's true, man, and that's not even okay. So everyone, just hold on the phone. But it's true when you search for approval. There's two ways of going about it. You can either present yourself in the best way possible, or your ego can take over, and then it becomes a sense of, as long as I've got this material, I'm winning.
Yeah. But again, that goes back to home life and trauma. Like, for example, you know, like I was fortunate to live in a 2-parents household for a very long time. But like, my dad was home, but he wasn't home. Does that make sense? Like, he was there, but he was never there. Like, I had to learn things on my own, become an own man, my own man. You know what I mean? Look to, I don't know, let's say the TV, like say Will Smith, or cousins, friends.
Because I'll tell you something, I had no dad in my house, so that was I'm not gonna lie, I loved everyone else's dad. I loved my big bros, and I loved the mother screen. I'm still gonna bleep it, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I love the screen. Like, if I saw someone who looked cool, my wife and kids, Michael Kyle.
Yeah, Damon Wayne. There you go.
Massive role model for me.
Facts.
The character Michael Kyle more than Damon Wayne.
Yeah, because he shows you how to be, you know, a family man, a husband, a father, a friend,
and
you know,
animated up there and take it there, protect everything.
For me, it was always the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with Will Smith and Uncle Phil. That scene, like. Why don't you love me, man? To this day, every time that comes, I'll cry. But again, that's probably just my trauma.
But no, it's true, because the one where it's like where he cries and he's screaming and Uncle Phil grabs him.
That's the scene. Yeah,
and it
gets me every time,
so
bro.
Relatable, but that's the thing. No, like you say, if there's traumas there, then and things are relatable, it's always gonna hold a space in your heart.
Facts.
A massive space in your heart, and for me. This is why I come to having stepchildren, because I saw somewhere and it said, "Be the man you needed when you was a child." And I thought, wow,
facts. And then that's another thing is, like, I mean, I love my dad.
I mean, but that's a good point.
Yeah. I love my dad.
That's a good point. I love my dad
but
too.
respectfully, you know, growing up is like I don't want to be that guy. I want to break that cycle.
I want to be a bit different.
I want to break that cycle. You know, and be a different person. But at the same time as well, you know, my parents are from Jamaica, born and bred. So it's like, they were parents for the first time. And you have to remember, their parents was from a different generation. So old school. Yeah.
Bush.
Yeah.
That means that they don't take none, and the whole village can beat you.
So at the same time, when you look at it, when I'm older now, so I'm looking back at it, thinking, you know what, they probably didn't experience that unconditional love.
So then they can't teach it in a way.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, because like I said, I love my mom, love my dad. But then there's times where, again, a Caribbean parents, you try to talk to them and it's just like, they'll just scream at you, and instead of hearing you out, because when you're trying to like open up, they don't really understand. Because
they're coming from a time of being told, seen and not heard. So therefore, what you're thinking, hold on, you don't get to think.
Yeah,
you're told.
Exactly.
And the more closer to current date, which we would be closer to current date of today than our parents would be, then the point I'm making is that 30 years, however many years, we still have this, but I want to say this, or I haven't finished, my point was, but I didn't finish my sentence. And that's the bit that they struggled with. Because they was not allowed that, but it was such a plow. That's what it was. It was that. So then the transition, it don't work. It's like this, they'll never meet.
Yeah.
until it's their grandchildren.
Facts.
Then,
Yeah.
Can't
But
do no
that
wrong.
that's facts. But also
do
as
no
well, I
wrong.
feel like now, because we're older, we're adults ourselves.
100%.
So now we could kind of sit them down and speak to them
Yes.
as, you know, adults and say, look,
yes.
growing up, this is how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
But then they see that because, again, their love for their grandchildren.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
100%,
Yeah.
bro. 100%.
Mm.
And this is why I say, like, I can't remember what it was, but I'm very lucky that when I was living with my mum, I was in a position where I could say to her a lot of things that was on my mind. And one thing I got to say to her was, I'm very grateful for how you raised me.
Mm.
And I said to her, I don't want us to get emotional, I don't want you to cry or anything like that. But I'm being real. I'm very grateful for how you raised me because I've got these 3 children and it's hard.
Mm.
And sometimes I just want to explode. And you did it on your own with me and my bro, and I'm gassed.
That's another thing as well. Like the circumstances that they had to, they had to overcome,
Yeah.
especially back in the 90s.
And the racism was loud.
Exactly.
Bro. It was allowed to be called whatever.
And you have to remember as well.
Turn blind eye and that.
And you have to remember, my parents are flying from Jamaica to come to England for a better life.
Yeah.
So it's like
gold pavements to get called black.
Yeah.
and
So
get
so
sent
so at the same time, it's like their style of parenting with what they was going through.
Mm-hmm.
I get it, but at the same time, you've got kids, so you've got to be able to make that change when you come through those doors after 12, 8, whatever, how many hours shift. You got to put on your happy face, your loving face.
Yeah.
But it's not always the case for some people. Do you know what I mean?
But it's because as well, they wasn't showing it. So if a man don't break character, if a man doesn't not smile, if he comes home and he puts his boots at the door and he takes his clothes off and he eats his food and he's sitting in silence and he looks across because mum's told him that you kids have been bad and he's like, listen, I'm just going to beat you guys because I ain't got the time to work out who lied, who did wrong, all you getting flogged.
Yeah.
I'm going to go because I've got to go back to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he's got some physical manual labour job. He's on a very low tolerance. And that person on a low tolerance, he's not hearing anything. Where when you've got somebody, even like us, it doesn't matter if you work nights sometimes or you work in the day. If your heart's hurting, when you see your child, you think, I don't want you to grow up like I grew up.
Exactly.
So therefore, and then that's when you sometimes as a parent, you can feel like you're losing yourself a bit because you're trying to maintain a household, you're trying to maintain your job, but you've got to maintain a relationship with this little somebody, especially if you come from a situation where you didn't have that or you was longing for it.
Yeah.
So, not 100%. So, what I would definitely say is this episode is brilliant. It spirals in a way. It's all been accountability based.
Yeah, of course.
Growth, but I've absolutely loved it. I really have. And the reason being is because I like the fact that men talk. Our friend group, our masculine group.
We need to talk more, to be fair. We need to talk more. We need to talk more.
But us boys, we're different. As in, us boys, we're different. So we can talk about sensitive things and stuff that you feel vulnerable or you feel a bit, not emasculated, but like a bit silly talking to your bros about
But again, but here's a joke though. I see a lot of guys posting mental health posts, but then they be the same are not opening up, or they be the same taking the he's showing emotion.
Yeah.
But then you're posting about it. So again, a lot of guys are conflicted.
That's facts.
Do you know a lot of guys are conflicted?
And what it really is though, bruv, let me tell you the truth, it's because boys do not know how to show love.
But at the same time, these are guys who are in their 30s, bro.
They don't know how to show love, bro. Because this is the truth. If I come across and I see you doing well, and I'm not me, and I give you some admiration, all of them people there are going to mock you. Yeah. No, going to mock me.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Are you sucking him off?
You glazing him? Yeah.
What? You be your own man. So then, no, I don't know how to show love because if I do, I feel judged.
But hear what though? You're showing you're giving him flowers while he's alive, but then when that friend's dead and gone, you want to be posting up about RIP.
Yeah, because
you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
A lost and a warped mentality where like someone like me, someone like you, we saw that guy in the gym and we was like, bro, we love Dragon Ball Z. We just wanted to let you know. And he, at one stage, felt a little bit silly, and then I seen him relax.
Yeah.
And I thought, bro, don't feel judged for being who you are, bro.
Listen, end of the day, yeah, everyone's got something that makes them happy. You know what I mean? People like to go out every weekend and get wasted. Listen, if that's your way of being happy and you know, control drinking,
and it isn't hurting anybody, including yourself.
Yeah, do your thing. If I see, I mean, I like to stay home and play video games.
I love that.
Watch anime. You know what I mean? Plus the wife likes it because she knows I'm home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She knows I'm safe.
But that's all.
But again, a lot of guys like to mock that. Oh, you're 30 plus playing video games. Okay, what do you do for fun? Oh, well, wait, hold on. You're buying bottles and tables for like girls who are like 22
to impress
motherfuckers. Like, exactly, bro. Like, shut up, man.
Get a bit of something on the end of that night. More than likely not, but at least you look the part. Meanwhile, you're mocking a man who is happily in a relationship, in his own gap.
This is it,
doing
bro.
His thing. This is why I had to learn. Very young, you've got to be careful who's following who. Is the head following the tail, or is the tail following the head? If you're the head, you lead, you guide, you're an influencer on accident.
There's a saying as well, I think it was Jonathan Majors that said it, like, you know, we talk about what we bring to the table, then also you got to be careful at what table you sit at, because the people around that table ain't your friends, bro.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They just probably like the fact about your lifestyle, what you could bring to their social status. You know what I mean? So again, beware of who's around your table or the table you're sitting at.
And make sure that everyone's rowing. Because if you look around and everyone's rowing, then you're in a good team. But if you look around and this one's got feet up and this one's chilling and this one can't even look. If you get, hold on, Reggie, my back's bun out. My freaking fingers are hurting me. I'm covered in water. What, you man not rowing? Then it's time to hop a boat. Do you know what I mean? Because that's not really helpful. But in my opinion, if you're in a team and you look around and you think, well, you know what? We're traveling in the same direction. We're making good ground. I'm happy with what I'm doing and what I'm getting.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to continue doing what I'm doing with who I'm around because we're going somewhere. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, facts.
No, 100%. But what I was going to say to you was, so this podcast has a closing tradition and it's tell me a few things that you're grateful for. So before you answer, I just thought these 3 things could be anything. It could be life. It could be experience, it could be breathing, it could be anything. It could be the fact that you've got your own space, because I think this is amazing that you guys cannot see it, but my brother's living life.
Obviously, definitely grateful for life. I'm grateful for a second chance.
That's amazing.
Not just in relationship, but just certain situations that you know what I'm saying?
I agree, bro. I agree.
And I'm grateful for good friends, because in this life it's hard to come by, because a lot of people are very sly. You know what I'm saying? So
they begrudge you for what you got, because it isn't even what they want most of the time. They don't want what you got. You know what it is?
They just don't like you.
Now you know what it is, my bro. It's more the fact of I don't like how happy you are with what you've got. To check it. It isn't.
And them man's got more, you know.
This is my point.
Listen.
It isn't the fact you've got more than me. It isn't the fact that I want it. It's the fact that you've got what you've got
and you're happy
with it.
They're like, how?
How are you happy with less than me?
I'm driving this.
Yes.
I'm getting this much yearly.
Yes.
But how are you this happy, bro?
How?
You know what? That's an insecure man, you know.
Of course.
Insecure man, bro.
Of course. And this is why when I listen to other men, I'm more careful of who I keep myself around, never mind get influenced by. Because when you're around people, they think, yeah, but let's back the thing tonight, and you think back the thing, okay, and then next thing you know, you think he's starting fights with everyone because he's with a group of men. They think every man's got size, so now he's the strong one.
This is
so now, man, you gotta watch that. But no, man, the points you've been making is absolutely brilliant, Ish, and I'm very grateful. This chat is absolutely amazing. I have to show these people this because the whole time you've been talking, I'm very sorry, but this here Oh my gosh, this is brilliant. This has had my attention the whole conversation, so I apologise.
Yeah.
But again, this is...
Yeah, wifey got me that, to be fair. She just knows me, bro. She just knows me.
Because she's Bulma, that's why.
That's it.
And Bulma holds Vegeta up, not down.
Exactly. You know what I mean? See it there.
Guys, it's been a brilliant episode. Today we won. I'm so grateful. Ish, thank you, my bro. Thank you for your honesty. Honestly, thank you for your contribution, because these conversations get other men talking. Because I did one Men Walk and Talk, and in my opinion, those guys was just a little bit older than us. Yeah. I'm being respectful. But what I'm saying is, the fact that we are talking and encourage other people to talk. Of course. It should also make the younger man then looking up to us and think like, oh, the man look cool. Like, I would like to be like you when I'm your age.
And this is just a little... This wasn't even... It was detailed, but it wasn't that detailed. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But like I said, if you need me on any more podcasts or group or like a group project, bro, I'm more than welcome to.
No, 100%, more than happy to. You're welcome back, because we need to dig into your TikTokers, because your TikTok's looking crazy over there.
I mean, I have stopped for about a year because again, I've been shadow banned because my TikToks is a required taste. You know, I've been banned loads of times. It's been taken down. But again, it's probably due to guidelines of also a lot of haters. Because one thing about what I love about TikTok is you see strangers, they don't know you, but they still show you love. I'll post the same, like for example, I will post a video. One of my videos got 7.1 million views.
Wow.
Posted the same thing on Instagram. Now I ain't got a big following on Instagram because it's more personal.
Of course.
But only a couple of reactions. Listen, react to what you're reacting.
Whatever you react.
But don't tell me that I ain't funny. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because
not if 7 mil over here were grinning teeth and over here.
Yeah, I think it was like 7.1 million views and over 500,000 likes.
You would have had a stupid amount of likes.
You know what I mean? So, but it always goes to show, like, again, people are watching in it. There's a lot of people watching. But yeah, I will be back on the TikToks because again, you're taking motivation from seeing you, and how you're growing your podcast. I need to get back on it.
No, man, that means a lot. It really does, because if I can inspire people to be the best version or to level up or to do whatever, I'm all for it, man, because we go up together and that's 100%. So I'm grateful, because when I seen you had that 30K, I was like, oh, I could learn a thing or two. Yeah. And that's what it's like. I'm trying to be like you, bro.
Nah, bro, I'm trying to be like you, man.
This is what I'm saying, man. But that's what it's supposed to be, because that's a crew that can help each other.
Exactly, elevate, bro.
And everyone eats and everyone gets blessed.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But like I said, once I'm back on the TikTok, I'm sure I got some funny videos I could involve you in, bro.
1,000% we're getting you back on here, because
don't worry
this was heartfelt, and this was a personal video episode. Yeah. However, we're gonna get you back where we can.
No, don't worry. I know what I'm saying. I've got some ideas for you, my guy. Got some ideas for you. You get me?
I love that, man.
Yeah, man.
I absolutely love that, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you learned something from this. Accountability is so important, and it goes also all the way. No, it doesn't. I was going to say all the way to women. But I think there's a line where it stops. I'm teasing. I don't want to get into anything.
Yeah, that's for another podcast. We'll touch on the ladies another time. You know, you see the other side of me. You know, but yeah.
Nah, honestly though, but guys, it's been brilliant. It's been absolutely brilliant. I'm very grateful. I feel very blessed. I've got an amazing community, and we are building an amazing community together, and I feel very blessed for that. So today we won. Big love and respect.
Yeah,
Peace out, man.
Peace out.